In the previous video, we discussed critical social work perspective in the field of child protection. One way to practice critically, as noted, is to question ideologies such as the blame the victim approach, where women are normally blamed for neglecting their children, while fathers, who are predominantly abusers than mothers, are not blamed. This is because, in the case of drug abuse and family domestic violence, child protection workers always expect mothers to leave their partners in the name of protecting children, or otherwise risk losing their children to child protection. But critical practice seeks to hold perpetrators of child abuse responsible rather than simply putting blame on the one who acts as a protective factor. Hence, the debate around working with fathers around domestic violence. Today, practitioners all over the world are more concerned about fathers who are domestically violent to their partners. In the UK, for instance, back in 2012, there were debates around interventions targeting perpetrators of domestic violence. Since a debate is characterized by differing views, so too is the debate around working with fathers. Some of these views include the tension in philosophy that are related to the history of working with men as perpetrators and a more recent development that constructs them as fathers. There are also tensions relating to differing views on the desirability and efficacy of set programs versus individualized, flexible approaches that incorporate a range of delivery methods and formats. To be noted here is that despite the differing philosophical views of points, interventions directed at fathers that seeks to tackle their violence towards their partners have grown in the last decade, and that's a fact. With the growing number of migrant children in Western countries such as the UK, United States, Australia included, there is a trend in child protection to place children of minority ethnic heritage with white families due to lack of foster carers families with a similar ethnic heritage as the child. This trend has led to growing debates that child protection has been reluctant in recruiting adopters and foster carers from minority ethnic heritage who would be matched with these children. Arguments put forward include the claim that child protection practice institutional racism, pathologizes and take a punitive approach towards minority families. Globally, the main fundamental principle of Child Protection Act is that the welfare of the child is paramount. In Queensland, the Department of Child Protection similarly claims that the safety of the child is paramount. Based on this safeguarding statement, Section 18 of Child Protection Act 1999 gives practitioners the right to remove children without the consent of the parent. This authoritative removal of children has attracted debates criticizing child protection workers as providing authoritarian and reactive types of interventions. The use of force in removing children is what Forrester and friends called a systematic issue responsible for involuntary parental engagement with the Department of Child Protection. As a solution, Barlow and Callum suggested that child protection should adopt a public health model of safeguarding children which demands establishing a universal preventive support for families and working in collaboration with them. Another contemporary debate is that of the variability of child protection decision-making process across countries, states, and jurisdictions. This is because despite child protection globally functioning according to the United Nations Convention on the Right of the Child, which urges states to protect children from all forms of maltreatment, states and territories have varying approaches to making decisions that substantiate children as either being in need of protection or not. That is, lack of a uniform decision-making framework leads to the outcome of cases of children in similar situations but in different locations being different. Debaters argue that decision-making in contemporary child protection practice is highly dependent on child protection site location, professional discipline, attitude toward family maintenance, underpinning beliefs about possible harm of foster care, and organizational context of practice. As a consequence, debaters argue that the reliance on either individual practitioners or the immediate ecological context present challenges for national consistency in decision making. In response to these challenges, debaters argue that there should be an established realistic decision making framework that would guide practitioners in making decisions. One proposed way of achieving a realistic decision framework is the development of complex case exemplars with annotations to highlight decision principles that would apply at each decision point and provide such exemplars for each type of child abuse for each age of the child. Setting exemplars, debaters argue, will solve child protection decision making variability.